at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx. Years ago, I worked with DJ Kool Herc, KRS-One, and the residents of 1520 to save the birthplace of hip-hop when the owner wanted to sell the building to another developer and remove its affordable housing units to make a profit. They were going to destroy the rec room where hip-hop was first created by DJ Kool Herc. We were able to prevent so many people from being displaced and at the same time make sure that this historic landmark would forever be honored properly. And over the decades, hip-hop has transcended.
That amount is larger than normal because of an additional energy relief benefit that required eligible residents to have applied by March 31st. The energy relief portion of the payout is non-taxable, and many eligible residents have already received their payments. But if you applied later, you should check to see your check by the end of the month. Because even the Colorado governor has said that state legislators announced plans that they would see and help ease property tax increases. It's an effort to help homeowners and businesses in Colorado. The plan would reduce the residential assessment rate from 7.5% to 6.5%, so it makes things a little bit easier for the people that are suffering the most with stimulus checks. But still, this is not enough. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. Continue watching this video because you don't want to miss out on this important information. There's a lot of news that you guys have to know. An important date that millions of Americans need to be aware of is coming up very soon. The federal government is preparing to issue the next round of direct payments, and that'll be worth nearly $1,000. Details are finally being finalized on the loan forgiveness program. And month after month, the Social Security Administration sends out monthly benefits to retired workers. In addition to that, Social Security is responsible for sending supplemental security income benefits, disability, and survivor benefits. While the May payments continue, it is going to be worth knowing who will receive their money in the first days of June. SSI recipients are eligible for a maximum benefit of $1,000 a month and $1,300 for a married couple, where both spouses are eligible for the program. But it's important to mention that the payments are calculated individually and vary from one beneficiary to another. SSI recipients receive their payments on the first day of each month, or if the first day falls on a weekend or holiday. The payment is moving forward to the earliest business days of the previous month, and those who begin receiving their Social Security payments before the month can receive benefits every single time. So folks, just know this. Based on the scheduling, the SSI recipients will receive their June payment on June 1st. In addition to that, SSI will send a second payment on June 30th, which corresponds to the July check, since the first day of that month is Saturday, and the payment date will be brought forward. But if the U.S. breaches the debt ceiling and defaults on its debt, there could be significant implications for Social Security beneficiaries. The debt ceiling represents the max amount of money the U.S. government can borrow, and if it's not raised or eliminated, the government may not have enough funds to meet its financial obligations, including Social Security payments. Experts warn that in such a scenario, Social
Economists tell us, spend the money, invest the money for those who need it the most, because they will spend it. It will be a stimulus, or at least a stabilization and that's a good thing.
The argument is over how much is appropriate at this particular juncture as we struggle to get the economy back.
According to state officials in Connecticut, healthcare workers, grocery store employees, and private sector employees who staffed vital services during the first 2 years of the crisis can begin applying for up to $1,000. It won't be clear until early October where the applicants will receive as much as $1,000, and that's because legislators and the governor, Ned Lamont, allocated just $30 million for the program. He said that Connecticut's essential workers have gone above and beyond during the crisis to keep the state running and safe. The new premium pay program is another way for us to return the favor, for these funds are truly meaningful. Every essential worker needs to know that they're available. To be eligible, an applicant must have worked between March 10th and May 7th of 2022 in one of these occupations that the state has listed. Some of the frontline workers in these categories include healthcare personnel. Eligible applicants must earn at least. Some of the frontline workers in these categories include healthcare personnel, food and agricultural workers, grocery store staff, and public transit workers. Applicants must earn less than 150 grand per year and cannot be employed by a federal or state entity. Full-time workers who earn less than 100 grand can apply for a $1,000 grant. Those earning more than 100,000 but less than 150,000 are eligible for grants on a sliding scale, ranging as low as 200. Part-timers working less than 30 hours a week can apply for a $500 grant. The application period will run until October 1st, and the goal is to process requests within a 60-day window. And for the company of Lowe's, the CEO said that in recognition of high inflation, we're providing $55 million in bonuses to our hourly frontline associates this quarter. And though there has been a slight decrease in gas and travel costs, recently the impacts of inflation are still affecting Americans, making it tougher for families to afford groceries and other essential goods. Microsoft, ExxonMobil, Walmart, USA have also offered bonus. Nancy Pelosi is now preparing a vote on Democrats' brand new stimulus checks. Bernie Sanders is also working with lawmakers to push for the renewal of a monthly stimulus check, everybody. So you want to be sure to continue watching to never miss out on the most important stimulus news. Today, President Biden signed a bipartisan bill that aims to strengthen U.S. competitiveness.
Go to advancingAmericanFreedom.com. You'll see we spent a lot of time on it. Our organization has actually spent the better part of $10 million already in the last 4 months.
In Dr. Jha's position are often put in front of the media, and they have 12 seconds to respond to very difficult issues. And meanwhile, people are reading social media, and they're hearing this study and that study, and people say, what the hell is going on? So I hope we'll have a few minutes to get into a little bit more depth about some of the very serious issues surrounding COVID. Let me begin, and by the way, many of the questions that I'm going to ask Dr. Jha came from Facebook. We asked people to come up with ideas that were on their minds.
Everyone, $200 bonus checks are being sent out right now to millions of Americans, and new financial assistance has been approved for low-income households. More and more people are showing their support for new inflation relief checks. And here is some big news. The New York governor has also announced that New York families on public assistance can expect an additional boost to their wallets this month to help cover back-to-school costs. The one-time payments come as inflation has tightened households' budgets across the country, making the annual shopping trip for notebooks, pencils, and free. Now here's some big news from the Biden administration. The Transportation Secretary told CNN that President Biden is working to fortify the economy amid steep inflation with efforts to shore up the supply chain and invest in the capacity of our economy to keep up with demand. He also stated the president made clear inflation is his top economic priority, and he's laid out a very clear strategy for doing that. So this is really good news, everybody, as inflation continues to reach record highs. So Buttigieg said the administration will continue to take the steps that are both on the price side and on the growth side to keep the economy strong. An ABC News poll shows the economy and inflation are top of the mind for voters ahead of the midterms. According to the poll, only 37% of Americans approve of Biden.